Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar Questions About Trada. I'm your host Anna Sawyer today, and in a moment I will be introducing my guest. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We're really excited to finally kind of take a step back and answer all the questions that you guys always have about Trada when you are joining us on our webinars. So we are going to try and cover as much as we can today in a pretty short amount of time. The main part of the webinar will probably be about 20 minutes long, and we'll leave some time at the end to get to as many of your questions as possible. So please feel free to type them directly into the chat box. We love your questions more than anything else. We will answer as many as we possibly can. Moving right along, if you would like to use the hashtag TradaQuestions, we will actually be giving away a $100 Amazon.com gift card to one of the people who tweets using the hashtag today during the webinar. So you have until the close of the webinar to take advantage of this exciting opportunity. Please go ahead and tweet something that myself or Jordan says today in the webinar, and you have a chance to win. So this is pretty awesome. We usually only give away $25. Today you could win $100. You could buy yourself something pretty sweet with that. Everyone, today the conference is being recorded, and you will receive an email later today with a recording of the conference and a copy of the slides. So if you have any audio issues, just keep in mind that you won't miss anything. You'll be able to watch all of this later. So it is my pleasure to introduce Jordan Benjamin. He's one of our marketplace experts here at Trada. Hello, Jordan. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk to everybody today.
If you have any questions for Jordan, please, again, go ahead and type them directly into the chat box. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in here with a poll. I'm interested to hear from you guys. How do you manage PPC and or Facebook ads? And if you don't mind just going ahead and clicking directly on your screen, and we will watch the responses come in. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do this. And it looks like the responses are starting to come in. Jordan, can we talk a little bit about what you do here at Trada? You are basically a marketplace explainer.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of my day really involves talking to a lot of different advertisers, hearing about their different potential setups with paid search, and then understanding really if Trada is a good fit and the best solution for them.
Yeah, sort of looking at their specific situations and trying to figure out if Trada is something that can help them out. All right, everyone, I'm going to move right on to the results so we can take a look here. Looks like most of you are managing PPC yourself. Several of you have an in-house team. This is pretty interesting. Well, I hope that we'll be able to show you today that Trada can be an answer to the complexities and the amount of time that goes into doing paid search all by yourself. All right, let's talk a little bit about what is Trada. So most importantly, especially for those of you who are doing paid search yourself, Trada is a solution for busy marketers or business owners to run paid search and Facebook campaigns. We've been doing paid search here for about 3 years, and we recently launched our Facebook platform, which works in very much the same way. And in addition, it is an alternative to working with an agency or to doing it yourself or to using a bigger tool like Marin or some of these other tools that do automatic bid management. Jordan's sitting over here nodding. We'll get to the part where he gets to be the marketplace expert in just a moment. One primary difference with Trada as opposed to doing paid search using an agency, and we do work with agencies to help them scale their business, but as an alternative is that there aren't any startup or management fees. We'll get to what you have access to using Trada in a moment, but essentially there really isn't any outside cost. It really does cost the same as it does to do it yourself. So for those of you who are doing paid search and Facebook ads yourself, in many ways this is a way to sort of hand off this work to someone else and have them do it for you and at no additional cost. So Trada fundamentally is simply a marketplace where you as an advertiser can join and have access to a community of these certified advertising professionals. Now these are people who work in Trada for a living. Jordan, in your experience, what are the sort of backgrounds of the advertising professionals who work in Trada?
Really what I see is a lot of different kind of backgrounds across the board. We have individuals that work at agencies part-time or moonlight in the Trada Marketplace. We also have individuals that have dedicated their entire work life to being an optimizer in Trada and working across a variety of different campaigns, really across the board, but really from what I've seen in the individuals that I've spoken with, all have a lot of great background and different perspectives on how they go about building out search campaigns.
And one thing that is important here is that it is a very diverse group of people. Some of them work part-time, some of them, make Trada their full-time job, and they all come from different, backgrounds, although all of them are certified. And we'll talk a little bit about how we make sure that our community of advertisers, our community of experts are the best possible people to be working on your campaigns. So as a Trada advertiser, the way it works is you would have access to these advertising experts. You would, place your campaign into Trada's Marketplace, and these guys would work on your behalf. So we'll talk a little bit about how easy it is. One of the things that's really great about Trada is how transparent everything you see is. This may be different from something that you're used to. Here at Trada, all of your experts are certified, and you can see their real names. You can see who they are. You can see the campaign performance. Can you talk a little bit about what we're looking at here, Jordan?
Yeah, this is the Optimizer Leaderboard, or essentially allows you to see the team of experts that are working there directly for you. It allows you to see all of the statistics that they are running with their own individual campaigns, and really allow you to understand how they're performing at a different level. You can see they're taking different strategies and approaches, as well as kind of working to capture different areas of your market.
One thing we talk about a lot here at Trada is how you could have the world's greatest search marketing professional working on your campaign, but how do you know that they are actually using the best possible strategies? Here at Trada, our understanding, or our belief is that having multiple experts who have multiple strategies is the best way to get the best overall results on your campaign. Did I say that accurately?
Absolutely. The way I would like to say it is it really allows you to capture the entire breadth of your market that's out there searching, because everyone takes a different approach to search, and then everyone has different ads that really resonate with them.
That is a great way to put it. So if I were to click on one of these guys here, this is what I would see. You can actually see, drill really in and see a specific expert's specific performance. You can click on him to go look at his LinkedIn profile. You can read a quote that he wrote, and you can see his performance on other campaigns as well, to make sure that this is someone that you really want working on your campaign. And then finally, and this is really important, we'll come back to why this is important in a little while, you can message with your team. They're called optimizers, we should say that right now, and you can talk to them at any time. Now, one of the things that is the most important about working with, essentially these guys are contract workers, is to always be engaged with them. Set expectations correctly from the very beginning. Set them up for success, and then constantly engage with them over time. And this screen right here shows, how you can talk to them specifically. So this messaging app is very important. So everyone, if you have questions, please go ahead and type them directly into the chat box. I actually just saw one pop up right now, so I'm going to break the rules and, and bring it up right now. Jessica says, so it's like a community of advertisers, like building a freelance team. Would you say that's an accurate way to put it?
Yeah, I would say so. These different optimizers come in, and the ones that have that most interest on your specific campaign are going to be on your specific team there working for you.
Yeah, and the thing that I think is sort of different from every other platform is that these guys are all working on your campaign at the same time, and so they actually don't see each other's work. They all build out their own individual campaigns using their strategies and, doing everything, bidding, creating keywords, writing ads, and it all goes into a master campaign, which we feed into Google, Yahoo, Bing, and Facebook, and we'll show you actually a little slide to show you this in a moment. And all of this sort of aggregates to make the best possible campaign. So let's talk a little bit about Trada's optimizers. The best thing about this is because they are paid based on performance, they get paid when they beat your cost per click and cost per action goals. We'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, but it means that they are utterly motivated to get the best possible results for you. Now, if they were just getting paid on how much money they could spend, they could go out and create all kinds of crazy stuff. But we have a lot of mechanisms in place to make sure that as an advertiser, your budget is spent correctly. So let's talk a little bit about where would you like to advertise. So we do go across networks, Google, Yahoo, Bing, and Facebook, and I would like to do a poll right now and ask you guys, which networks are you advertising at right now? So if you don't mind, again, clicking directly onto your screen. I'm going to give you just a moment to get these answers in, and I'm also going to pull out some of the questions. The questions are rolling in, so everyone, if you have questions, make sure you get them in early so that we have time to answer them. One sec. I'm just pulling this out. So everyone, please go ahead and click directly onto your screen. And I'm going to pull up these questions. All right, let's move on to the results. Give one more second. So everyone, this was a multiple choice question, so if you see a total of over 100, don't be alarmed. Majority of you are advertising on Google AdWords, and that's great. One of the things that we have done a great job of here at Trada is made Trada look, feel, and work just like Google AdWords. We know that you've worked in Google AdWords before, and we don't want to, reinvent the wheel here. Everything that you do in Trada is in Trada's proprietary platform. That's necessary because we go across networks, and but it will be very familiar to you. So talk a little bit about that. Yeah, so here, you can do all of these things in the same proprietary marketplace. So some of the benefits, and Jordan, maybe you can talk a little bit about the positive, reasons for doing everything in one place. Here's one that's really big for busy marketers: saving time.
Absolutely, and one of the pieces that I talk to a lot of advertisers about on a daily basis is the fact that, as we kind of saw from the poll here, that most advertisers are mostly focused on Google, and even most of the time they're only pulling their AdWords campaign and importing it directly into Ad Center, and a lot of the times there are a lot of nuances and differences within Ad Center that you wouldn't see in Google that really allows us to understand, analyze those differences within each of the networks, and then really optimize on both of them within our marketplace there, and really allow those optimizers to do a lot of that heavy lifting.
Yep. Next up, we saw on that previous screen that not everyone is advertising on Yahoo Bing. Not everyone is advertising on Facebook, and again, maybe these aren't the right networks for everyone, but we do suggest that everyone try advertising on these networks. And I get so many people saying, I honestly feel guilty that I don't advertise on Yahoo Bing, but I don't have time to add a whole new network. It is a completely different interface. You have to log in separately. You have to bid separately. It's like having a second job. So in Trada, you can do all of it in the same place.
And one data point that I saw is actually there are about 56 million unique searchers on Search Alliance Yahoo Bing that never search on Google. And so really capturing a different set of market, a potentially different market segment and demographic as well, and really understanding where the best fit is for your individual business.
Yeah, said another way, if you're not advertising on Yahoo Bing, there are people out there who are looking for you, and your ad's not showing up, so they're clicking on the other guy. So, and another thing about Yahoo Bing, I could go on about this forever because I'm impassioned, is that clicks can be a lot cheaper. Clicks and conversions can be a lot cheaper on Yahoo Bing, but a lot of people skip it because they think, AdWords will get the lion's share of the clicks and I only have time for one. So, and then finally, because everything is in the same place, the data generated by all of these different networks can inform each other, and you can learn more quickly about your customers and your message. We'll talk in a moment about how transparent the data is to you, so you can use it for whatever you want. In fact, here's a slide that says just that. In the Trada Marketplace, all of your data is available to you. We understand here how important the data from search is. It's generated instantly. It is immensely valuable not only for your search campaign, but also for your other stuff. One of the best things about search is ad testing. If you find an ad that works really well, why not use that message in your email marketing? Or, in your display ads. So we give all of this to you. We let you know which keywords are doing well. We let you know which ads are performing the best. And here is a screenshot from the app which shows you just, how incredibly powerful this is. So can you talk a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yeah, this is a piece of our summary screen, and actually that chart at the bottom allows you to see across your entire campaign the rolling average of your CPA as you're trying to understand how is this campaign performing. There are definitely going to be ups and downs as you're working within a search campaign, and really being able to look at that graph on a high level and then be able to dig in a little bit deeper into your data to understand what are the reasons behind that. Is this a trend that you need to go in and pull out some keywords or ads, or is this just a seasonality issue where, okay, we had a great piece of kind of winter time, holidays coming through, we had a lot of sales, and now we're spiking back up into January season and kind of understanding the performance of your campaign.
And we want to keep this webinar relatively high level. If you are interested in seeing more about the data that we can show you, Sarah, our awesome marketing intern who is here in the office with us, would be very happy to set up a demo for you where you can, Jordan or one of our other marketplace experts will take you in great detail through all the data that you can see. We didn't want to make this a whole data webinar. So if you are interested in taking a deeper look at this, go ahead and type "I'd like a demo" into the box and we will set everything up for you. Let's move on just a little bit. The way it works in Trada is a little bit different from anything you've probably ever done before because you actually have some responsibilities. You manage your campaign from a high level. So you approve things. You may be approving ad copy or keywords, making all sorts of executive decisions, setting goals, and our community actually does all the work of the campaign build-out and curation. So we're going to talk just a little bit about specifically how it works. I'm going to tell you a little fictional story here. This is one of our favorite fictional companies. So you're a company who wants to advertise online. Here I'm going to do a B2C example, selling a product on the web, but Trada works very well for B2B as well. I've seen a few questions about that come in, and we can talk a little bit more about how that works later. But as a very fundamental example, you're a company who sells hand-knitted scarves on the web. So here's how you would get started. You would work with our team, with Jordan or someone else on our team, to determine a target cost per click for, to determine a target cost for a click and a conversion. Now, this is something that could be based on your historical data. This is something that could be based on data in your industry. Jordan, can you talk a little bit about how you come up with this target cost per click and conversion?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the time we will look into a lot of different tools like the AdWords keyword tool. Any past history from a search account is always the best. And we're going to look into different data points to understand what is a good starting point for your goals as an advertiser. Are you looking to achieve a volume goal? Are you looking to achieve a CPA target? And really, where does that kind of fit in terms of the strategy that we start with? One piece that I do like to say is as we set a goal and come in with a campaign, we're able to adjust these goals as we see data coming in, because that's really what paid search is a data mining game and understanding where is the best fit specifically for you.
Yeah, awesome. So one thing that I think is very important to say here, and this is a question that we get all the time, you are setting these goals to determine how your optimizers get paid. Now, people like, and we'll get to this in a moment, people like to say, well, why don't I just set a really unrealistic low goal? And our answer is, paid search is a marketplace. So these optimizers are applying to work for you, but if they come in and take a look at your campaign and say, there is no way I could get those conversions for, $1 or whatever you've set, and it's completely unrealistic, they won't come to work for you. So the idea here is you are setting something that is attainable and realistic and something that makes sense so that people will want to work on your campaign. And this will all pay off in the end, I promise. So moving on, you have determined this target cost for a click and a conversion. And the next step is that our optimizers apply to join your campaign. And very key thing here, they apply to join your campaign in multiples. So you could have, depending on the size of your campaign, 5, 10, some of our campaigns even have 15 optimizers working on your campaign at the same time. That's like hiring a team of 15 paid search experts, except that you don't have to buy them desks, you don't have to get them an office space, you don't have to set up all the W-2 forms or whatever. We do all of that for you. This is a very, quick, clean, get a whole bunch of people on your team method. We say that you can launch your campaign in as little as 7 days. In 7 days, you could have a completely revamped, paid search campaign. So what do these optimizers do? What does campaign build-out really mean? We need to talk separately about the way Google, Yahoo, Bing, and Facebook work, because they really do work a little bit differently. But in paid search, one of the benefits of having all of these multiple optimizers is this just massive keyword generation. So, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but if you have the greatest paid search expert in the world, this guy who is just a paid search genius, he could sit down and think of all the different keywords that people might use to search for scarves, but this is just one guy. So he couldn't possibly think of every single keyword that someone might ever type in to find scarves on the internet. Jordan, you were nodding vehemently. Do you have any comments on this?
Oh yeah, the example I just like to use here is if anyone kind of sitting listening right now were to go search specifically for scarves, we would probably take a little bit different approach to how we would search for that, whether it's because we're in Colorado here, somebody may be East Coast, West Coast, age demographic. There are so many different things that impact the way we go about searching and kind of going about finding the things we're looking for online, and that's really where these guys' differentiation in strategy really comes into play.
Exactly. And so it's not just keyword generation. They're also creating small, thematically relevant ad groups, and they're all doing it in a different way and building their own strategy and getting their own, high quality score. They're all writing tons of, vibrant, interesting ad copy and constantly testing it, and they're setting bid prices. And this is something that's really important, this human element of setting bid prices. They can be strategic. And remember that they are motivated specifically to do this well so that they can beat your CPA and get paid. In Facebook, it works a little bit differently. Setting intelligent hyper-targeting, we actually have a whole creative marketplace who create ads for you. And remember that you actually manage all of this and approve or disapprove ads, keywords, all this stuff from a high level. So you have a great deal of control. We kind of like to put it like, you're the expert on your business, these guys are the experts on advertising. So you guys work together. Moving right along. The next step is that once your optimizers have built out these campaigns, you launch your campaign in the Trada Marketplace. So once they have created all of this data, then you launch it in the Trada Marketplace, and Trada aggregates all of your optimizers' work and puts it into one super campaign, and it sends it out to the ad networks, and your ads begin running. So you start seeing your optimizers' ads on Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Bing. It's pretty awesome. And here's something that's pretty great. Data from the search networks, which, as we know, is incredibly valuable, is available to you, and perhaps more importantly, it's available to your optimizers. And these guys will see what's working, what's not working, what could be improved upon, and they use it to fine-tune your campaign and start working towards that CPA goal. So we'll talk a little bit about how optimizers get paid. They try to get clicks and conversions below your goal prices. So in this big red scarves option here, description here, you've set a click cost of $1 and our optimizer gets that click for 90 cents, or you've set a click cost for $10 and the optimizer gets it for 9, they keep that little spread. And a very common question is, if all this stuff is free, then how does Trada make their money? We actually take 25% of an optimizer's earnings as a fee to work in our Trada Marketplace. So these guys are paid fairly based on their performance, but they don't have to go out and find clients. They don't have to have office space. Many of them work from home. And so we charge 25% of their earnings.
And one thing I like to add is really a lot of the time how we align these goals and incentives is towards that CPA target, to really where these optimizers have the biggest incentive for themselves to drive towards that cost per acquisition, that ultimate goal you're looking for, whether it's a lead form fill out or an actual sale, and really help them drive to the exact goals that you guys have as a business of driving new leads or driving revenue.
Yeah, this is something that we take really seriously. I mean, we want you guys to be happy. We want our community of optimizers to want to continue to work in the Trada Marketplace. So we work very hard to make sure there are these mechanisms in place to keep everything fair and to keep everyone working towards the same goal. One thing that is something that is a strong indicator of success when working with freelancers or even with working on people on your own team is to make sure everyone is aligned towards the same goal. And so this alignment of everyone wins when we all get the same goal is what is so fundamental to success in our marketplace. So what is the result? Your campaign just keeps getting better, and your optimizers, the better they do, the better they get paid. So one thing to sort of remember here is that these are goals that you have set. You have said it is reasonable for me to pay $10 for a scarf sale. And so, you could say, well, can I keep lowering my CPA? The answer is yes. You can change your CPA goal. If your optimizers are getting scarf sales for $2 and they're making $8 in profit, you can move that CPA goal around until you find something that's beneficial for everyone. And I'm sure this is a question you get a lot, Jordan.
Yeah, this is something I hear a lot, and really you have to kind of look at a trade-off between the cost per acquisition you're willing to pay and the volume you're looking to generate. Obviously, the more you're willing to pay for a sale, the more potential volume that is out there for you to go after. And so that's really where I work with different advertisers to understand where is that kind of delta point for you guys, and then where can that move to as we see more data coming in to find out where the best fit is for an advertiser.
Yep. And so one thing that's important is that they keep doing this forever. As long as the life of your campaign, the optimizers keep logging in. They're making small changes. They might be reordering ad groups. Actually, I have a slide here to tell you all the things that they, are able to do over time to curate your campaign. Everyone, remember, if you tweet using the hashtag Facebook questions, Facebook questions, Trada questions, you have a chance to win that $100 gift card. Sarah, if you could go ahead and type the hashtag into the box. Oh, looks like she just did it. So everyone, you still have a chance to win by tweeting. So some of the things that they do while they are constantly curating your campaign throughout the lifetime of your campaign to keep beating your CPA goal and simply, drive more traffic or get you the best possible results. A lot of our advertisers who are happy with their results raise their budgets because as an advertiser, if you are hitting a CPA goal, and you have the budget, it will simply bring in more business. So these are the sorts of actions that get them there. On search, constantly ad testing. We always talk about as a best practice that you should, constantly be testing your ads and swapping them out. Even if you find one that works really well, you should still keep testing them. Building out their negative keyword lists. I can think of very few things that can really help fine-tune your campaign better than building out your negative keyword lists, and that's something that you need data to generate. Constantly managing bids and then restructuring ad groups to keep driving that quality score up. And then on the Facebook side, refreshing ad creative. Now, I'm sure you guys know that ad fatigue is one of the biggest problems in Facebook advertising, and because ad creative is so expensive, most people don't have the resources to properly do Facebook advertising. But if your ad creative were essentially free, as it is in the Trada Marketplace, and you were able to constantly refresh your ad creative, that's an excellent way to get really good results. Constantly testing new targeting, A/B testing ads, and then bid price adjustments. So these are the things that will go on forever throughout the lifetime of your campaign, constantly fine-tuning it, making it better. These are the things that you would have to be doing yourself if you were running this yourself, but someone else is doing it for you. Jordan, what do you normally quote as the amount of time an advertiser should spend on their campaign every day?
Typically within the Trada Marketplace, it's about 10 to 15 minutes a day worth of management. Going in, understanding are there keywords and ads to review, is there any new messaging you need to send out to your optimizers, whether it's a holiday promotion for free shipping, or maybe even a new product line or something of this sort, to make sure you're just staying communicative with these guys and really making sure that you're engaged with these guys since they are spending so much time doing that heavy lifting for you.
And, as those of you who are doing it yourself know, to do a PPC or Facebook ads campaign properly, you have to spend hours every day building stuff out and managing and curating. So here you are having someone else do it for you. So as an advertiser, again, this is different from maybe working with an agency where you just hand off your campaign and they come back to you and say this is how it's doing. You do have some responsibilities, as Jordan mentioned. You do need to log in. Setting and adjusting goals is something that is a very important advertiser responsibility and is so important to your success. You do need to approve and disapprove ads and keywords. One of the best things about optimizers is they may try some crazy things. They may be like, hey, maybe this is something that'll work, but you'll know your business better than that and say, no, this isn't a keyword I'd like to use. And then also, you do need to maintain a website that's optimized for conversions if you want to have a CPA campaign. So if you come to us with a GeoCities website, with a terrible layout and you're like, I want to sell so many scarves on this website, believe it or not, we may actually say Trada's not a good fit for you until you make some changes.
Yeah, search can only do so much in terms of driving paid clicks and targeted traffic to your site, and then really so much of it is dependent upon the user experience and how easy is it for them to accomplish that desired action you have. And so a lot of the times we may even come back with suggestions as to improvements for your site to things that we would see that would help drive up your conversion rate, really, since we are all working towards that same CPA goal or target.
Yep. So here's one thing. We make it really easy for you to approve keywords. So what you see here on the screen is our keyword approval screen. So every keyword will come through to you for review at a certain point after a certain number of clicks, which we set for you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we typically set up a click limit. So we'll allow a keyword to run for about 10 clicks and then pause it for your approval. It's very easy to go in and either approve or reject that keyword with a very simple check of a box, and that's really where you have a lot of control on this campaign to make sure that the keywords that are running are relevant to your business and also spending your budget effectively and efficiently.
And we actually give you all the data to make these decisions. You may think that maybe this type of keyword wouldn't work well for your business, but we always say, look at the data, don't trust your gut. And as you can see here on the screen, we give you all of, this keyword, you may not have believed that it would work, but it's converting at this great rate. We allow you to know this. So we also have an ad approval screen here. And I apologize, I did not get a screenshot for the Facebook ad approval screen. It looks very similar, except that, of course, Facebook ads look more like display ads. They have images because we have this creative marketplace. But it works in very much the same way. Before an ad ever runs, it comes to you for approval.
Yep, we like to make sure that the branding and the way these guys are promoting your brand online resonates exactly with how you guys want to have that branding strategy. This is a lot of the times where I see people using that messaging interface to really kind of dictate the strategy you guys are trying to take at a high level, and then let these optimizers go in and use their different creative approaches to see which ads resonate best with the different type of people searching for your business online.
And we give you the opportunity not only to approve or reject an ad, but also to editorialize. So you could reject an ad and then write a message to the optimizer that said, hey, I'd prefer if you use a different landing page, destination page, or, I'd really prefer if you didn't use the word free here because it actually drives traffic that doesn't convert. There are a lot of different mechanisms for you to be able to have a ton of control over which ads run. But what's important here actually is that there are so many ads. So I don't think we actually have a number here on this campaign, but for example, in the Trada for Trada campaign, the campaign that we use to advertise Trada, we have 1,000 ads. Now think about how long it would take you to write 1,000 ads. And these ads are constantly being tested and constantly being swapped out. This is really the sort of value of using the crowd. You have a massive number of people all working towards your goal, creating a ton of content. So next, we help you to understand where your campaign needs work and what you can do. And here we're kind of talking about what you as an advertiser can improve. So we actually give you what we call an advertiser Trada score, where we actually give you a score on how well you are doing. Now, if you don't log in for 2 weeks and approve keywords, your engagement score will go down, and you will know that the reason that your campaign may not be doing as well is because you are not logging in and you are not working on this. So, Jordan, can you talk a little bit about the screen?
Yeah, definitely. The first piece I like to point out here is you just have a very nice high-level overview of your stats in a similar way that you would see in AdWords, where you see your impressions, clicks, and things of sort across the top of the screen, and then the rest of that being the Trada score. The two other main pieces beyond engagement are the achievability score. How achievable are these CPA goals that we have set forth? Is this campaign something that we feel is a good fit for both sides of the marketplace, where the optimizers have the ability to succeed and beat your goals, and then most of the time that'll keep an advertiser very happy as well. And then the other piece is that pricing score. As I work with different advertisers and our team to set up that pricing, we want to make sure we're going after a reasonable size of the market there for you in terms of volume, and then also that kind of CPA target you're looking to achieve. So making sure that we have this campaign set up across these three different pieces are really what we see driving successful campaigns.
And everyone, for a much more in-depth look at how the pricing tiers work, how the engagement and achievability score work, how we give you the tools to make sure that your campaign is working well, and also, if you want to learn more about, how you can be successful in the Trada Marketplace, please go ahead and type "I'd like a demo" into the chat box, and we will set that up with you. And this will be a one-on-one live demo where it's very personalized. We can go look at your website and give you very, very personalized advice. So if you're interested in learning a lot more, please go ahead and type "I'd like a demo" in. So let's talk a little bit, and I know that we've touched on this before, about the specific benefits of having multiple experts on your campaign. So we talked about how collectively, if you have 10 people working on your campaign, they have the time to go in and log in and optimize correctly. One of the most frequent things I hear from advertisers who are trying to do paid search on their own is, I feel guilty because I know I could do better on my campaign, but I just don't have time to go in there and log in every day and change stuff. And after just a few days, your campaign can get out of control. You can lose quality score, the market changes. It can be very frustrating as an in-house advertiser. But if you have a bunch of people working on your team, they have the time to do this. So, next, this massive number of, or this massive volume of ad creative and keywords and, all these different people working on intuitive targeting and testing, best done by a group of people because of the great diversity of thinking. And that is what we have built our empire on here at Trada, is this great idea of diversity of thinking. If you try to come up with ideas on your own, you'll probably come up with some really great ideas. But if you and 10 of your friends try to come up with ideas, this is why we have brainstorming rooms.
And that's kind of an interesting piece that I see as I look at different advertisers that I've been working with and launched into our marketplace, is so frequently we will have a couple optimizers on the campaign that are top performers, that are really taking the lion's share of the conversions. But then you'll have a few other individuals that are still driving quality traffic that may not be in that same volume as the guys that are taking the top share there. And that's because they have a completely different strategy and approach to the way they've built out their campaigns. And that's really where we see this allowing you to capture that entire breadth of the market and the different strategies that people are searching with.
Absolutely. Now, guys, I feel like we have taken up more time than I thought we would with the slides, so I'm going to zoom through some of the questions that we got before the webinar, and then we'll get to as many as we can of the questions you've been typing in, so keep typing them in. So here's a really common question. How do I know my optimizers are qualified? So, Jordan, do you mind talking a little bit about how we make sure that the optimizers are the right people to work on your campaign?
Yeah, we actually have kind of a 2- or 3-step process even along that side of things to make sure these guys are really the best experts to be on your specific campaign. First off, in order to be part of our marketplace, they actually have to go through an application process to make sure that they fit the criteria we're looking for, where we're going to look at some work history, LinkedIn profile, and things of the sort, as well as once we allow them into that kind of entering point of the marketplace, they actually have to go through some internal Trada certification to make sure they're familiar with our tools and our setup. And then beyond that, we actually restrict the amount of campaigns these optimizers are able to join onto. So we're going to actually force them to submit applications as they see a list of different campaigns to join onto with a description of the type of business, what are the goals here, and from there they're going to submit an application internally to us with sample keywords, sample ad copy, and essentially an excerpt of the strategy they're going to take. From there, we're going to hand select the best 5 to 10, depending upon size of campaign and things of the sort, to make sure we get those best individuals with the broad strategies coming and working specifically for you on your team there.
Exactly. I can't stress how seriously we take this. We want you to be successful, and we have, so many ways of making sure that you get the right people on your campaign. And I saw a question come in just a moment ago about whether we have specific industry experts, like, do you have someone who's really good at auto sales? Do you have someone who's really good at B2B? The way the marketplace works, optimizers apply to work on campaigns they know they'll be good at, and industry experience is part of the application, so absolutely. All right, moving right along, how do I get the best possible results from Trada? So we talk a lot about what are the sort of strong indicators of success in the Trada Marketplace. And here are the really big ones. One is that you set your CPA and CPC goals realistically. It's easy to think, hey, I really want to hit this really, really, really aggressive CPA goal, but in many ways that is often not the way to get the best results.
Yeah, and one of the nice pieces here is that we can adjust these targets as we get data coming back in. And so a lot of the times we're going to start with a conservative CPA target with advertisers to go after a wider breadth of that market, to understand, okay, how much volume can we go after? And as we get data to come back in, as we're able to optimize on these campaigns and really refine into that quality, is really where we can kind of get down and incrementally drop that CPA target as we see more data coming back in.
We do put a great deal of thought into setting your CPA goal right off the bat. Again, we use historical information if you've had an AdWords or Facebook or Ad Center campaign before. We also use industry data. We aggregate a lot of data and ideas to set that CPA goal right off the bat. And then finally, you're engaged with your optimizers. So this is so much like just working with anyone else. If you have someone who's working on your team, it's important for you to set goals, set expectations, and communicate with them often. So this is no different from working with someone on your team or working with a freelancer. You need to talk to them and you need to set expectations well. So this is one of our favorite questions. What's the deal with the minimum budget? So Jordan, if you don't mind going ahead and talking a little bit about what the deal is with the minimum budget.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a minimum budget within Trada, but it really depends upon the performance that you're looking for. Essentially, we've kind of set our minimum at about $3,000 a month in potential
for paid
ad
search.
spend.
Facebook, we have a different minimum budget. Go ahead.
And so on the paid search side of things, we do have that minimum set, but it's really dependent upon the goals and strategy of your campaign. How competitive is your industry? If you're coming in and you have 50-cent click costs, it may be a little bit more reasonable, unless you're coming in with $10, $12 click costs in a very highly competitive industry. That really doesn't allow us to get much data out of your campaign and work towards that optimization. And so really kind of it depends upon your specific industry and where we see the best fit for you specifically.
Yeah, and remembering that you know, the optimizers work on your campaign. They put together all of this work basically on spec with the idea that your campaign will be in the marketplace for a while and that they will be able to make sense at a time and have it be worth their while. We have seen that 3K is basically the sweet spot where, you know, we really need to have that much in order to make it reasonable. And in addition, if the optimizers actually need to get data because that is how they optimize, that is how they fine-tune campaigns. And if you have a much smaller budget and you're only able to get a couple clicks a day before you exhaust your budget, there can never be enough data to optimize. So next up, another very popular question, what about my existing AdWords campaign? So what do people have to do with their AdWords campaign?
Well, typically we're going to take as much data as we can from your AdWords campaign. I talk to a lot of people who get worried about losing history and losing quality score and things of the sort, and that is definitely something that we've addressed here and put a lot of different pieces into play to make sure that we can kind of take that ramp or learning cycle out as quickly as possible. So importing a negative keyword list, taking your top performing ads, understanding what keywords have worked for you in the past, and then making sure that the optimizers have an understanding of that so they can really use and leverage all of that learning and data from your campaign.
And we do try to make this transition as smooth as possible. You know, we understand that you need a steady, source of leads or sales, and so we get that. We try to make it absolutely as smooth as possible.
And something that we actually do here, which is really cool, is we actually have this 7-day build-out process to where we're actually not going to run your campaign live until we've been able to build out ad copy, keywords, and content for the first 7 days. So when we actually do have you pause your existing campaign, we really hit the ground running once the Trada campaign launches live and is where we don't have any management or setup fees. It's all housed within once these guys start generating that quality traffic and quality clicks for you.
Yeah, so you actually have your AdWords campaign running right until the moment we switch everything over and everything has been built. So next up, do multiple optimizers compete for keywords in my account and drive up click costs? This is a very popular question, and the answer is we do allow more than one optimizer within your campaign to have the same keyword, and there's a very specific reason for this. Keywords do not dictate the performance of a campaign. A keyword is a keyword is a keyword, but a keyword works within an ad group, which drives to a landing page, which has a specific ad written with it, and every optimizer will have a completely different strategy for building their ad groups and writing their ad copy and doing all of these things. And so we do allow optimizers to have the same keywords. Now, one thing that's interesting is that we have a very, very small overlap with keywords. Broad match keywords, obviously if you're selling scarves, people are going to write the same word, scarves. But when it comes to more long-tail keywords, which is really where the Trada Marketplace excels, the crossover is very small, and we do allow optimizers to have the same keyword. But they're all running through the same account, so competition is actually not an issue. Sorry, I'm waiting for the slide to come up. So yeah, we do allow this keyword sharing to give your campaign the best opportunity to take advantage of the wisdom of the crowd. You want these people to be using all of these different strategies, and the ad network doesn't care. They just choose the best optimized version and they serve that. this does incentivize optimizers to do their best work. Everyone, we are going to get to all of your questions in just a moment. First, I want to tell you a little bit about an awesome offer that we have. Are you interested in getting a free ebook? It's called the Paid Search Primer. It's a 50-page ebook, and you can get it for free just by liking Trada on Facebook. So go to facebook.com/Trada Marketplace. If you have any questions that are about search, this book should answer them all. This is a very comprehensive look at paid search from beginning to end. It is actually a very good complement to a Trada advertiser because it will help you to understand what your optimizers are doing, why they're making these decisions, and it will even inform you to be able to message your optimizers. You know, you could say, hey, have you tried, this? Like, how are you doing on your negative keyword list? Are you using broad match terms for this? This will help you to sort of understand paid search on a much deeper level, which will help you to be a better advertiser in Trada. Everyone, if you will just give me a moment to get organized here, I am going to bring all of your questions up, and we will get to as many as we possibly can. Let me just move back here a moment. And remember to keep typing them in. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. Jordan, I'm going to give you one in just a moment. Looks like we addressed a few of these. So, Jordan, can you talk a little bit about, I had a lot of questions about industries. What industries do the best? Here from Perry, we say, here Perry has a question, is Trada better for B2B or B2C? Are there some industries that you've seen do well? Can you kind of address this?
Yeah, I mean, really the expertise and the diversity of thought that comes out of this crowd allows us to work across so many different verticals and industries. I talk to people across every kind of different platform and industry every single day, B2B, B2C, where we talk to different e-commerce folks like we saw here in some of the ties or scarves examples. Also different advertisers that are looking straight B2C. And really the diversity of the thought and from the approach of this crowd allows the guys that have the different industry expertise to come and work specifically on your campaign. Since we restrict the number of campaigns they can join on, it really allows them to dive into the campaigns where they have expertise, have past success and knowledge. So we really see a lot of great performance across any different industry you can see there.
And we have we have had a few people ask us to see B2B examples. For example, Roseanne says she would like to see a B2B example. Roseanne, go ahead and send an email to Sarah at sfox@trada.com, and she will get back to you and get you with the right person who can talk more in depth about a B2B example.
Definitely. That's something that we'll do in the demo a lot of the times is if we can talk to you a little bit, understand what your industry is, and then actually get you something that is relevant to your industry. So if you're looking for a lead gen campaign, you can actually see a specific campaign within the marketplace.
Thanks, Jordan. All right, Rosie asks, how do you ensure your optimizers don't burn through the budget? My concern is that experimenting can be costly.
That's a great point. Experimenting can definitely run up click costs a lot of the time, and that's why we have that control on your side of things to where we only want a keyword to run for 10 clicks or less if we decide to make sure that you can approve those keywords or reject them before you've blown through your budget, to make sure that we can actually get in there and give you that control to say, hey, here is where my budget is being spent effectively.
Yeah, you always see the data. You always see when things are running away with you, running away from you. Everyone, I'm going to answer more questions in just a moment, but first, if you want to hear more, if you have specific questions, if you'd like to just, grill Jordan for an hour, please go ahead and just book a Trada demo. It's super easy. All you have to do is type, I'd like a demo into your chat box, and Sarah will set that up for you. And let's move on back to our time for questions slide. So a bunch of awesome questions from Jessica. One second. Her question was, how do you attract these optimizers, and do they work for you?
That's a really nice question, and it's something that we, a lot of the time, these optimizers are actually coming to us because they're interested in search. We're not forcing people to join our marketplace, and that's really where I see this relationship working out very well, is everybody within our crowd, within our marketplace in this community here is actually in there because they enjoy search and they want to be, and then they join on campaigns that they want to be on as well. So we definitely go out to trade shows and talk to different people in different paid search spaces to bring in the best and the top talent that we can talk to. And then a lot of the times people hear about us, and we've grown a lot organically from the interest of people that love doing search, that love working in this space and spending their time there.
Great, thanks, Jordan. So I said we would answer all the tough questions, so I'm going to send you a tough question. Do you ever have campaigns where the Trada performance is worse than the client's previous campaigns?
You know, it really depends what they're dictating as performance. Sometimes within Trada we'll take a completely different strategy where we may go into a much bigger volume play when in the past they had only been running a few hundred keywords to where they come into the Trada Marketplace and we're running a few thousand keywords with different variations of ads where the CPA may be higher than in the past, but they're also generating more volume. So it really depends on what we define as performance. And one of the cool things is after a 90-day period, if the performance just isn't there for you, you can actually take that data with yourself and really we can understand that maybe this just wasn't a good fit with Trada, or across the board, paid search may just not be the right market for you.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you are a company with a big enough advertising budget to have a massive in-house team, if you have just a warehouse full of PPC workers, then you have basically what we have. You may be paying more for it, but you do have basically what we have. So our solution is for people generally as an alternative to working with an agency or as an alternative to doing it in-house, as a more attainable alternative for a company that's not a giant conglomerate. So it is possible that sometimes it may not be the best solution, but we strongly believe that for most advertisers, Trada can really, really help you. So here is a question just sort of about getting kicked off. Jim wants to know, what's the minimum a client can decide to spend if at first, oh, sorry, a message just popped up in front, so now I can't read it. What's the minimum a client can decide to spend if at first they only want to try your system? So what's the starter budget?
Really, again, that comes back to kind of the whole what does your industry look like. As I do a lot of analysis initially with advertisers, understanding what are the click costs in your space, what kind of volume can we go after and target, and then really understanding where is the best fit for you. A lot of the times we come to that $3,000 a month potential spend number. If we don't spend all of the budget, it just stays within your account or rolls into the next month. And so any budget that you allocate to Trada is first off your all-in cost and then a potential number that it's really a matter of if we can get there and spend it, that means you're getting that much traffic and that many people coming through to your site.
But we do not allow advertisers to come in and just try a few $100s in Trada, because remember that you have a team of people who are working for you, and they're working with you based on the assumption that they are going to make a certain amount of money. And I'm not going to lie, optimizers would rather work on a campaign with a bigger budget. Now, most of our advertisers fall between the 10 and 100K range. Most of them don't have a 3K minimum budget. And often we do, you know, kick someone off with a 3K minimum budget. Some might call it a starter budget. And when we meet their CPA, we bump it up. So I have another question for you, Jordan. Do you have metrics on how many people use Yahoo Bing versus Google? I assume that Laura is asking about within Trada, and I believe the answer is that almost everyone advertises on both, and the reason is that we always encourage people to advertise on Yahoo just to try it out, and then they realize how awesome it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of great statistics from both of the networks, and actually something that's really cool that we have into our marketplace currently is actually an algorithm that'll help us automatically adjust budget to wherever we're seeing the best performance. So let's say you're seeing incredible CPA target numbers or low CPAs coming out of the Search Alliance or Yahoo Bing, we're able to automatically allocate budget to whichever network is really performing best for you.
And this is something that no one else does. This is something that creates a, sorry, tapping on the screen. That's okay. Is there a, you know, this is something that gives you just way more benefit from advertising on both networks that you would ever get working separately. So Laura has a question. Does Trada offer an account manager to help set up our first CPA goal?
Absolutely. A lot of the times I will go help you understand that CPA target, as well as we're going to send that through a proposal review team. And then beyond that, you will have a dedicated account manager on your Trada campaign, really regardless of the budget you come in with. You're going to see the specific name of that person, their email address, as well as their direct dial into their phone number. A lot of the times you will talk to an agency or something of the sort where you have to spend $25,000, $30,000 a month to get a dedicated person on your account, to where here at Trada we're actually going to have that person specifically working with you, not just at the start of your campaign, but through the lifetime of your campaign, to really make sure that the goals you have are really in line and set up for success with our optimizers as well.
Great, thanks, Jordan. I am going to take a couple more questions, everyone, because we're really short on time. And I'm going to lob a tough one in your direction, Jordan. You ready? What happens if no one meets the CPA goal? And of course, this is a very common question from advertisers. They're very concerned about this.
Definitely, and typically we don't see nobody meeting the CPA goal, but if that happens, a lot of the times it means either the expectations that we have set initially may just be inaccurate. We may have gone on a higher conversion rate than what you can actually attain. Sometimes that may be related to the website, or it may just mean paid search or this specific approach may not be the best fit for your individual business. A lot of the times I will talk with people selling $10, $20, $30 products when their average click cost is $2 to $5. And so that's saying you're going to have to get a 20 to 30% conversion rate. When a lot of time across the industry we're seeing 1 to 2% conversion rates as a pretty solid performance for some different advertisers depending upon the goals.
And one thing is, again, I know I keep saying this, but we take this really seriously. If we're working with an advertiser who has $5 click costs and wants to get a $20 CPA, we might say, sorry, we don't want to waste your time, and we don't want to waste the optimizer's time either.
Yeah, and really what we're looking to take on here is we're looking to bring in a long-term engagement. As these optimizers really don't earn much money as they're going through that campaign build-out and exploration phase, we want to make sure that we're bringing something into our marketplace here that will be successful in the long term, not just in the 30 to 60-day window, but really to 90 days and beyond, to really allow these guys to dive in and do a lot of optimization and heavy lifting and digging into your specific campaign.
Great, thanks. I'm going to take one more question. But everyone, before we leave, if you would like to have Jordan or another one of our marketplace experts really dig into your campaign, take a look at your website, talk to you about your expectations, answer your questions specifically, we would be so happy to do this. It's free. It's easy to set up. We'll do all the work for you to set it up. All you need to do is book a Trada demo. So go ahead and type "I'd like a Trada demo" into the chat box, and we'll set that up for you. All right, final question. And guys, if we didn't get to your question, please go ahead and send an email to Sarah at sfox@trada.com, and she will make sure that your question gets to the right person. All right, finally, Andrea wants to know, what about landing pages? They're an important part of success, and this is, I think, a good segue from our last question about not meeting CPA goals. It is the advertiser's responsibility to make sure that the website or the landing pages are set up really well. But there are a lot of other things that you can use. We're friends of the show. Unbounce is a great platform where, without a designer or a developer, you can design conversion-centric landing pages. We really suggest using them. They're very easy to do. We'll also, give you some, guidance with ways that you can make your website better for conversions. And Jordan, you can talk a little bit about maybe experiences you've had with people who have needed help with their landing pages.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to advertisers every day with websites really across the spectrum, whether it may be a major retailer, big brand name that has a site and landing page that is absolutely dialed in, that really drives person to that specific action. And then some people that haven't updated their website in the last 5 years. And so really a lot of the time this is where we see the optimizers coming back in with some suggestions of, hey, here's how I think we could improve this conversion rate. If we could move your box up a little bit, or that call to action, to really drive people to that specific action. And a lot of the times we're going to see that people can come in and optimize their site, or sometimes they may actually pause their campaign and say, hey, we're getting ready to actually set a new landing page live. Here are a few different ones that you optimizers can go out and test and give us the data on what you think really converts best, and we'll be able to analyze and understand, here's the best way for us to roll out our new landing pages or new site design.
Yeah, we know that landing pages pages are a really important component. They absolutely are. I mean, they can affect your quality score. They can affect, the way that the optimizers are able to do good work. And so while we don't specifically offer a landing page solution, there are a lot of things that you can do. We can offer guidance on that. Also, if you want more information about stuff like landing pages, we actually have a landing page optimization webinar, which you can check out on our resources page at trada.com/resources. Tons of webinars, best practice guides, all kinds of stuff, which you can check out for free. It's very easy, trada.com/resources, for a lot of best practices around paid search, online advertising, Facebook ads, and landing page design. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We really enjoyed being able to take a moment and talk about Trada when most of the time we talk about more sort of high-level online advertising stuff. We loved your questions. Again, if you missed out on having your question answered, please email Sarah, sfox@trada.com. Finally, you have about 1 minute left to tweet using the hashtag and get a chance to win that $100 gift card. Everyone, thanks so much. Reach out if you have questions. I hope we'll talk to you soon. This has been Anna Sawyer, and I'm here with Jordan Benjamin. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is the end of the webinar.